Hey, we are here with Namesbliss. I'm so excited to have him in the studio. Oh my God, Namesbliss, hello.
Come on. What's good?
How
Jeez.
are you?
I'm healthy, man. I'm good, man. I'm living life.
That's what we like to hear. How has the last, should we say 18 and also months been for you?
Yes. It's been a defining moment for me, I would say. I'll say the last 18 months, especially coming out of lockdown and within lockdown, it's been a lot of change and a lot of work. That's what I'd say.
So you've been busy then? You've been keeping yourself busy?
Yes, I've been busy. Yeah. It's been a very hectic time, I'll say.
I want to talk a little bit about your artistry because I feel that you're the type of artist that when you came out, it was evident to everyone that you knew. I don't want to say knew what you were doing, but you knew what you were doing.
Okay.
And
How so?
I feel like you portrayed someone who is very sure of themselves and their artistry, and what you see is what you get.
Okay,
is that fair to say?
That is fair to say. Yeah. I like to show myself in my music, be as authentic as I can be, wherever I am. You know, like when I was like doing a lot of shelling, a lot of pirate radio, I wanted to be like, I'm me here. I don't have to like be like that. I'm gonna be myself in this space. So yeah.
Do you think that's difficult to achieve in our, I don't want to say current climate in the scene that we're in?
I think so. I think it's hard. I think it comes from who I was outside of music. I think I'm very much, I like being the same person in that sense. And I want to be like as similar in the spaces that I'm in. You understand? So I think because I'm like that outside of music, it just translates when I'm in music.
Do you think your self-assurance as an artist comes from your self-assurance as a person, or do you think it's the other way around?
It's definitely as a person, because I feel like I do music for a reason. I'm not in my head thinking I want to make music because I just want everyone to rate me for my music. No, I think it's like an extension of who I am. You know?
Yeah, I totally get that. So your music is you, but with a bit of a twist on it.
This is it. Yeah, an accentuated version of me. Yeah, 100%.
It has been said that you kind of rejected grime from early on.
That I rejected grime?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Officially kind of said no.
I want to know who said that. I want to know who was it that said that. I want to know.
I was having a conversation with someone. I will tell you after. And the conversation was about Bliss just saying, "Nah, grime. I'm not doing grime. The grime's not for me. That's not what I'm here to do. I'm doing something completely different."
Wow, that's real. Do you know what? I would say this. I think, and I'm gonna try and say this in a very clear way. You know. All right. So I MC. So like, if you listen to my project, let's take Rubicon Lychee, for instance, or Strikers. If you listen to what I'm doing, I'm MCing. I think for me, scenes, there's a rule in every scene you go to, whatever scene, whether it be the punk scene, the underground rap scene, the drill scene, the grime scene, every scene has ideals or things that they rate. So in my head, I don't think I've ever rejected grime. I think for me, it was more so, if I'm a musician and I really like making songs, like I think a lot about what goes into my songs. I just need to expose this to people that value that same thing. So you're within the grime scene, but you value musicality more so than some other people in the grime scene. Like you really value music. And there's people in the grime scene that really value music. And it's like, if I'm making my stuff, they can resonate with it. But a lot of people from other scenes also resonate with my musicality. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that does make sense.
Yeah, so I've not rejected grime. You know, like I was like, get to show the other day. Like I've gone. How many grime individuals have I been to? Like I go there as a fan because I grew up on those MCs.
Yeah.
But I'm never going to be in the same cloth as those MCs because I grew up on them. Like I don't want to hear. Let me put it like this. I don't want to hear another Sharky Major. I've got Sharky Major. I want to hear Sharky Major be Sharky Major. I want to hear, do you know what I mean? I want to hear Rico Dan be Rico Dan. I want to hear Discarder be Discarder. So I feel like in a way, I'm not trying to be another one of them. I want to hear them. You understand? So I've not rejected grime. I've just focused on being a musician and people that gravitate towards that. And funnily enough, a lot of them might not necessarily be in grime. That's what I find.
Yeah, I understand that. Do you think there is a difference between a musician and an MC or an artist, so to speak?
Definitely. Definitely. So I think, so for instance, I'm a better musician than I'm an MC. Like I've got very good lyrics, like I've got good flows, good lyrics, but there's something about being an MC or being like what did they used to call it back in the day? They didn't even used to call it MC, and they used to call it something else like in the 80s when man them would like just jump on a rhythm and do a mad thing. Like I'm a nerd, so I studied, like I just go back and look at music. Like MCing didn't necessarily come from even rapping. It was more like you were a stage show don and you would just do your thing. And I think that's a different skill. Me, I write to songs and do that whole thing. So I think there's definitely a difference between that side of things and the musician side. It's part of the musician side, but it's a specific bit of it.
It's a whole nother ball game, isn't it? There's a whole other section to it.
Yeah.
That opens you up as a musician compared to being just, I wouldn't say just an MC, but just an MC. Yeah.
What would you say it is like for? Because you're saying I'm a musician, but what is it particularly that makes you think that? Because I haven't gone online and said, "Hey guys, I'm a musician." Do you know what I mean? I don't do that. Yeah. So what's it?
I think it's your whole package. I think it's the way you come across and present yourself.
Okay.
I think it's your campaigns.
Okay.
And I think it's the types of music that you make.
Right.
The beats that you select, what goes into them beats. We spoke briefly about the saxophone before we came on. Who you're working with and the partnerships you form, because I know you've got some strong musical partnerships.
Oh, yeah. Jeez, man, like Vagrant.
Big up Vagrant, More Night.
Vagrant, yeah. I'm going to buy him a Rubicon Lychee, like, when I next see him.
Has he never had one?
You know what? I don't think he made the beat. I don't think he's had one, though. He'll prove me wrong when he sees this. He'll let me know.
So I think that's what sets apart a musician from another artist or an MC.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense, yeah. Fully.
Your music is filled with, I will say, there's elements of garage in there. Mm-hmm. You've got your drill-esque bits, and then you've got your conscious rap.
Yes,
What is your ambition with your music? Why do you present it like that?
Yeah, look at that. That's a serious question, isn't it? I think it's just because of what I care about. I think for me, I'm 27, and a lot of my work outside of music is with the younger generation. So, like, my working with them for the last 6-7 years, and particularly working in Hackney for the last 4 years, it changed my writing. So, my goal now is to make music that challenges people. I want people to enjoy my music and be challenged by it. Those are my two things. You either enjoy it, like I can make vibes like Guide Me and things like that, just enjoy it, Ruffy, and just enjoy it. But then I make other songs where it's like I want it to make you think. So if my music can do that, then I'm successful. If I can do that at scale, then I'm happy.
Do you think that's for any age, or is that specifically targeted with your youngies in mind?
I think when I look at like my stats and stuff, I'm finding that I do like the younger part of my audience is growing a lot. I think that's because of how it sounds sonically. I think they like the sonics of it. Even if they don't understand the depth of what I'm saying, they're just like, this sounds cold. Like, so I'm seeing a younger group grow up. I think with the older gen, they connect to it in a deeper way because they understand what I'm talking about, So I think there's like a duality there.
Your new project focuses on your work with your young G's, as you call them. Why is the youth so important to you?
Yes, that's real.
That's a big question, right? Yeah.
I feel like with things like that, sometimes certain passions and things that we have, I feel like they choose us. So I remember being like 21, being at a youth club, working at a youth club, thinking, I'm 21 working at a youth club. People were like, why are you working at a youth club? So this was in... This was actually in Hearts. I did it in Essex as well when I was up in uni in Essex. I worked at a youth club when I was like 20. So it was something that was naturally in me. And then I think like after that, when I started doing music, I thought, for me to fund music, you got 3 options in it. You either, live a high risk life, you get a job somewhere, or I don't know. I don't even know what the third option is. You understand? So for me, I thought if I'm going to work to fund my music, I want it to be something that I care about. And then that's how I like flung into youth work. And, it's not even youth work, education really. I was working at a music college. So it was like, it's education. And then I was like, okay, cool. When I started doing it, I realized, I care. I proper care about these young ones. There were times when I was working in a music college and some of the students were older than me. And I found that funny. Not funny, it just was a bit interesting. Yeah.
And what is it about youth that you feel that's your mission? What is it about them that you feel that?
I think I see how easily they're shaped. I remember myself when I was that age, and I looked up to certain people. Things they said would impact me on a mad one. So I kind of look at them now, and I look at how they're buzzing with energy, ready to just like take over the world, and feel like if I can influence them now to achieve even more greatness, then I'm fulfilled in it. So I think it's how palatable they are. Like their minds, they're just open. You know what I mean? They're not fixed. They're just like free in the way they think.
You said it was a music college, so do you feel that music was a way of reaching them as opposed to their parents or their elders? Is that another way that you can reach out to the youth and they can reciprocate?
Yeah, I think so. I think that in a way, definitely when I'm there, like because I might be going back in January, but like definitely when I'm working with them, I'd like to use music because it just builds bonds. Like I shot a freestyle in Hackney the other day, 5 days ago, but it's already out. But I shot it 5 days ago, and when I was shooting, the youths just came. They were just surrounding, man, and I just thought, like, are they intrigued or what is it? Are they wondering why I'm here? I don't know. So I was like, "Hey, who spits here?" And then one of them was like, "Oh, I spit." Came up and then he just started barring. And then my videographer at the time, he runs a big page on Instagram. He's got about like 500k followers, and he told the youth there and he goes, "If you're sick, I'll upload you now." And then the youth got gassed, ran away, came back, then ran away again, and then came back. I thought, rah. And then he spat, he was sick, and then he went, they posted him up and he went like semi-viral. And for me, I was happy about my freestyle, but that was kind of the thing I went home thinking about. I thought, rah, like, we've just seen these random youths and given them a sick platform, just like that. So those are the things,
Is that a sign of the times? Because obviously when we were younger, we didn't have social media. So he's gassed that he's going viral he's on Instagram and this person's got this many followers. What did we have when we grew up to be gassed about? We had radio, maybe. We
had radio, we had raves. I think for me, I know because I've got two older brothers. They used to go raves. I was too young, I was too young. I used to be jealous. I used to cry at home. Because there's this rave called Bigger Fish. Obviously,
Bigger
this
Fish.
Audience know. Yeah, see, yes. they would know. People hit. So my older brothers would go Bigger Fish, and they'll tell me what happened at Bigger Fish. And I was 10 years old, and they'll be like, "Oh, I saw this person, saw that person, this person." And like we had a radio, and then they would like play. So I remember. No, because people were hood famous. Like I grew up in Cricklewood. I grew up in Northwest London. Like people like Flirta D and that, they were famous. Like if you saw Flirta D, it was raw. Do you understand? So there was fame then. It just wasn't in this social media way,
Yeah, it was slightly different, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, that little kid went viral. That's so sick.
Yeah, it was cold.
How old is he?
He was 15.
Okay.
15, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah,
and what are the age group of the people that you work with?
A bit older than that, probably like between the ages of 17 and 21.
Okay.
17 and 21.
Do you feel that you're being the older that you needed when you were younger?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Because I just told them the real. I feel like me as an artist, I went through a phase of trying to make really good music, and I thought if I could just make good music, then bare people will hear me. And I realized I was wrong. And I went through, I spent bare money, I spent peas, all of this stuff. Then I realized that all that matters is the people that love your music. And if you could just keep giving music to them, then you're winning. And you grow that way. So in the last 18 months, my focus has shifted from just making good music to, all right, let me actually connect with the people that are showing me love. Rather than trying to send a DM to Drake, let me talk to the man them that are rating me each week. And in doing that, it's enabled me to even like put on like a headline show or like build in that sort of way. So I tell the younger lot now, when I'm working with them, I'm like, make sure your music is sick. Connect with the people that will connect with you. Yeah, save them years, of stress.
How long did it take you to work that out, to find that out?
What? Probably took me like 10 years. My first release was 2017, but like before that I was still rapping in it. So it was like, it took
I actually can't believe that your first release was 2017.
Oh no, but when I say release, I mean like
your first proper. Yeah.
I was rapping like I had like releases on MySpace and back in the day, like when I was a teen and that.
MySpace gang.
Man was there, man. I've always been cold. I've always like then I was doing when I listen back to it, I'm like, I was sick. Yeah.
So when I played, what did I play earlier from 2017?
You're 16.
You're 16.
Yeah, check Spotify. That's the first release there.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's mad.
It feels like that you've been doing it a lot longer.
Yeah. Why is that then?
I don't know. I don't know. I think you come across as having established yourself in such a way where you know what you're doing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I'm like deep down, like anyone who knows me knows that the word I wouldn't say like I'm a nerd, but I'm kind of a nerd. Like I really deep things. So like I could sit down for hours and just research things. So I know artists who have no idea. Like I know all the artists coming up now. I always know them. Like I just will know them. Like I remember listening to people like Duppy like 8 months ago, 9 months ago, thinking this guy's cold. Then like I saw that Duppy was performing at Fabric with Oblig. I was like, oh, that makes sense. Like it's not even because I'm necessarily like, do you know what I mean? I like to just know what's going on. So I'm like that in all areas, man. With the creation of music, with scenes, I know what's going on in the grime scene right now. I know what's going on in the underground rap scene right now. Kind of know what's going on in the drill scene. I just like to really know, you know?
What's your music making process then? Because you're quite meticulous with things. So what does you're sitting down with Vagrant and you're in the studio. Tell me how that goes.
Yeah, well, first of all, he's in Scotland, didn't it?
Oh,
so
yeah.
sitting on flipping Zoom or WhatsApp or send me something. But yeah, I hear a beat. I look through bare beats, and if the beat moves me, then I write. Because I probably have like 500 beats there right now that I've not touched. Because I want to listen and I want it to move me. If the loop moves me or the beat idea moves me, then I write to it. If it doesn't move me, nah, man, not happening.
So straight, just out the window. Doesn't
no, never
catch you. You're just, nah.
God, I'm very selective on the beats. But once it does move me, sometimes I could write the song in 30 minutes, an hour. Sometimes it could take me 2 weeks, depending on what the song is. Yeah.
Was that the same process you used for Light of Mine? Did you obviously you had the concept in mind? I assume.
Yeah. Well, no.
What happened? What came?
Oh man, Light of Mine happened because so I had some young people who me and my team at the time, because I had a team of 10 like TAs, and they would kind of look after the young ones in classes and stuff, and I would kind of like make sure everything's proper. And some of my young people, unfortunate things happened to them. Some of them got stabbed. One of them that got stabbed, it was almost fatal, and he almost died at the scene. And it was, and that stuff was happening all while I was releasing music. And it got to the point where I was like, I want to like give a voice to some of this. I want to give a voice to this pain. I don't feel like, it almost seemed like, why doesn't anyone really care about? Obviously, people care about this, but I didn't see enough of it in a way. So I just started writing in a way, and I think when I was writing, it was like therapy for me. It was like for me to release, the emotions. Because when I was at work, it's just you go, you make your phone call, you make sure everyone's cool, talk to the mum on the phone. Is she alright? She could be crying. You're cool. I'm cool. Do you know what I mean? I can't be there flipping out because I was the manager there. So if I'm flipping out, people are like, what are you flipping out for? You know what I mean? So it's like I had to be very like business. But then when I would leave work or go studio after whatever, it would still be weighing on me, innit? So then when I would write, it would just naturally come out of me. And Light of Mine as a project just came from a collection of tracks. There's other tracks that fit into the theme of it that just didn't make the cut because I was like, it's good, but it's just a collection of tracks that I wrote in that time when things were hot that just show how I felt at the time. Yeah.
I was actually going to ask you, when you have issues with your YGs and you're dealing with them, who do you then lean on? You know what? That's real, innit? That's real. I was able to. So we did have something called supervision, where when you're on the front line, you kind of like can talk to someone, like a counsellor, to say this is what's happened, and you can speak to them. We didn't have that first in the workplace. Me and my team actually fought for it, and then got it. So we got that. That was all right, to be honest. I think I did that, but then I've also got mates. I've got some of my friends and that who kind of do similar things. So sometimes I just chat to them on a level like, yo, man, today's been a mad one. I can't even lie. This happened, that happened, da, da, da. My girl as well, she's mad supportive in terms of that. She's an artist, but she's also good on the whole mental health front. Like, she understands that whole world. So she provides a warmth for man. You understand? She has the warmth for man. You know, like that.
Warmth. So yeah. Exactly.
So that's how you deal with it without it getting to you.
Yeah.
What do you think that obviously you young people are going through these situations and you're the one dealing with it, but mentally, how do you think it is for them?
I think it's mad. I think it's mad for them.
Do you think they're able to process certain things that go on in a wouldn't say adult way, but like we would be able to?
No, because I remember me when I was that age, I didn't like. I think the reason why I write the way I write isn't because I think the youths are particularly bad. It's more so I feel like people my age, we could be doing more. I feel like if you're, between the age of 25 and up, that's when is giving back time. People might be like, oh, that's mad early. You're 25, you're still working things out. I'm like, no, like, I think even though you're working things out, the YGs look up to you when you're 25. And you're still young enough that you're relatable. So I'm kind of that age where I'm relatable, but I'm not in their gen. I'm not on TikTok doing dances. That's not man. And never will be man. But it's like there's an element where, I feel like it's giving back. But what's the question again? I'm trying to.
Question was how they deal with stuff mentally and if they're able to process it like an adult would.
Oh yeah, hell no. Because I remember me. I was mad. I was mad that age, and I wasn't even bad. I was not. I mean, teachers try. What did they try? Said, he gets really high grades, but we think he has ADHD, and they were like, oh, he has ADHD, and they didn't do anything about it because they're like, oh, he gets high grades, so it doesn't matter. Yeah. But I was bad. I was bad at school in the sense that got in a lot of fights, a lot of dramas, a lot of went to 3 different schools and that whole thing. But when I look back, I think it was, again, I didn't know how to process what was going on around me or what was going on at home or what was going on in and around. So it made its way out when I was outside. You understand? And I think a lot of the madness that we're seeing now is just the effects of just poverty and just poor infrastructure. It's not because they're from certain ethnic groups or anything like that. It's because it's depravity all around them, and what you put into a system is what comes out. And then it's almost like, you raise someone in the trenches, their best friend gets stabbed when they're 12 years old. The elders are convincing them to shot. By the time they're 15, they've gone OT. They've been in the trap house. They come back. They go to school. The teacher says, you're late. You're getting the detention. They're thinking, yeah, I've seen my best friend get stabbed. What's the detention going to do, really? Do you know what I mean? Like this. So it's almost like, with that input, what are you going to get out? So when we see the madness happening, it's like, it's not surprising. You know what I mean? That's why I feel like we need more people to like stand up and support,
Did you have elders in your community when you were growing up that were, someone that you look up to or someone that you could go to?
I remember my friend's dad. My friend's dad was someone that believed in me quite early. And I remember having a teacher that believed in me quite early. But I wouldn't say I had like elders per se. No, not that I looked up to really, no. It was more figures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who were those people? So you had your friend's
dad?
dad?
So my friend's dad and my English teacher was a G. What?
Do you know what? I feel like English teachers are always G's. There's always one English teacher that believes in a child, especially when they see like writing abilities and things like that. Always an English teacher.
No, it was mad. Big up English teachers because he made me realize I was smart. I know this sounds funny, but like he made I remember we were doing this thing called speaking and listening. And we're basically, you're basically tested on your ability to speak. Like, and just like kind of do something. And I remember getting an A, I think I got an A star for it. And I thought, wait, did I get an A star? What the hell is going on here? And he was like a proper posh. He was Irish, but posh. Really posh. And he was like, yes. And he broke it down for me. And I was like, oh, right, so man could do that. I kind of played it down in the class. But when I left, I felt like proper chuffed, like I could do this. And I think him believing in me then, I was like year 9. And him believing me around that age, it made me realize that I'm levels. That's the last time. That's funny. That's the last time I ever got suspended. That's the last time. Like, if I think back now, I didn't really get in trouble after that. When I look back, so I feel like he played a pivotal role. His name's Mr. O'Connor, so if he sees this, innit? Like, he's still out there somewhere.
I love that. What do you think is I think there's a fine line between being age 25, like you said, where the youngers will look up to you and kind of pay you a bit of attention, compared to maybe 10 years older where they think they're being nagged, so they kind of don't give you the time of day. How small is that line between these two comparisons?
I think it depends on the approach that the person takes. So the approach that you choose to take. Because someone could be 40 and still take on the approach of mentor, guide, or big brother, as opposed to talking down at them. You know what I mean? And I think giving them opportunities is the best way to communicate to them that you value them. Rather than, I don't just go to YGs and say, you're important, man. You go take over the world. That does nothing. What I actually do is just like little things. Like even when I saw those, like, you man spit, yeah, cool. Let's record them. When all of that stuff is happening, it's communicating to them. This guy rates you. You're valuable. You could do something.
He's listening.
Yeah, you ain't got us. And I think it's all about the approach. I could be on the road with a megaphone saying, "You guys need to drop your knives." Automatic, I lose them. If I do that, I lose. Maybe there's a place for that, but that's not the role that I think I have or people around my age group need to have.
Mm-hmm. So what's your approach?
My approach?
Yeah.
It's gonna sound bad when I say it. I think I just invest where I see potential.
Okay. Yeah.
So I mean, if a YG sends me a tune, like, because this happens, people send me music. They send me music, and if I see potential in that, I'll just encourage them in that sort of way. But in a professional setting, yeah, man, run workshops, do that stuff. Teach them about lyric writing, teach them about the industry. Like every gem that I know, I give to them. There's no secrets. Like any way in which I've been successful in their eyes, I just tell them how I did it. Give them the tools.
I like that. I rate that. What kind of experiences did you have when you were younger? Do you think that aided your ability to support these people? I'm talking specifically, we can go back to Darkness, and we talked about your chaotic life growing up.
Yeah. You know what? There's two things. Because me and my dad didn't get on. We didn't get on for a long time. Goodness, we really didn't get on. Just because of a number of different issues that were going on at home at the time. So two things for me: moving from Kilburn, Cricklewood, to Hertfordshire. That was the biggest transition.
That's a big difference, isn't it?
And I hated it, but in hindsight, I'm so happy it happened. Because what I was doing, the way I was, if I was like that in Kilburn, this is higher stakes, man. It's higher stakes. You're in Hearts, you're fighting. There were travellers in Hearts, though. So, you have to be careful. But there's an element of with that moving out and finding faith. Those two things. If it weren't for those two things, I don't think I'll be as effective. Finding faith, because it changed my whole outlook. It changed my outlook on how I see people in general, how I see myself and how I see people. I think I see everyone as having intrinsic value now. So it's like that just changes everything. Yeah.
How did you find your faith?
I had a mad encounter. Like, it's so mad. I didn't find my faith in a church, which is mad. Literally, I'll tell you what happened. It sounds mad when I say it, but the fruit's here, innit? So I was in my room, and a madness had just happened. When I say a madness, like a mad scenario, a mad family scenario happened. I was like 14, and I remember just saying, "God, help." That's it. And then, literally, the next day at school, like, things were different. It's not that everything changed necessarily, but things were different. My outlook started changing a lot. And then I just started connecting more. Like, I started connecting, and then, found like a new friendship group, started getting serious about my faith, started reading, started studying. And then, my mindset just started changing. Yeah.
And you attribute that to God, your faith?
Yeah, definitely.
Magical.
Yeah, it's mad, did it?
That's proper mad.
Yeah, and I think, obviously, then after that, I started going to church. And even when I was there, it was almost like, I'll be real, I was like, what's going on here? Like, in my head, it was almost like, what I'm seeing here isn't necessarily reflecting what happened to me. Because basically, when I found faith, my focus became, how do I make the world better? Not necessarily how do I make people believe what I believe, if that makes sense. I thought I just need to add value wherever I am. That was kind of like the effect of it. So, yeah, it's interesting.
I like the way you talk about your faith, because, like you said, I feel... I don't want to offend anyone, but I feel speak freely. I feel sometimes when people find religion, they can have a tendency to push it on you. And the way I've spoken to you in passing conversation that we've had and speaking about your faith now, I could tell that's not your angle.
No. No.
I'm trying to think what my question is, but there's a big difference. Yeah.
I think it wasn't pushed on me. In my head, I had an encounter where I was like, please help, which clearly was coming from me. And then I feel like, God help me. But I wasn't forced. So I think if I want to be authentic, I can't go around forcing people, because that's not how I came into this. It would almost be disingenuous.
Yeah,
I
because
think
it
a
was
lot of people
kind
that
of
force it feel they need to. I think a lot of people force it out of fear.
Yeah.
They've been told you need to do. That's why they've been conditioned. You need to go out there and make everyone believe like us, and then that's what happens.
But it feels like this is something kind of organic that came from you. So
Yeah,
that's why it's completely different.
yeah. That's why. Yeah.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. I have so many questions about faith. I'm like,
Yeah.
Do you think
That's
it's changed your life?
Yes. My secondary school friends would certainly say the same thing because they were around me. That's why all my songs that are not all my songs. That's a big statement. There are particular songs that if you deep it. So for instance, Ruffian in school, bro said I cannot be around you. My boy Quabs, his mum looked at me when I was in secondary school and said, "Quabena, do not." Basically, don't hang around him because if you hang around him, you're gonna go left. So I was like, Ruffian in school, bro said, I cannot be around you. You can ask Quabs, that's true. I never lie when I write my tunes. And I'm just kind of having fun, so saying like, at school was a madness, but yeah, look at me now. And same with Strikers. Back then they spoke to my mum, they were like, you got a violent son. That's how the story began. I would look at my face, I'm a righteous one. Bro, I can't believe it. And it's kind of like the whole thing of like, I know what it is like to go from darkness to light. I think the biggest thing for me was my context didn't change when I found faith. I was still living in the same, there was still madness going on all around me. But what it gave me was the ability to not define myself by my surroundings. That's why it changed my life. Because it was like, I was able to live in the same place and thrive. And I just thought, flipping hell, I could be in this setting and this is where my mind's going. You know what I mean? What
were some of your darkest moments growing up?
Darkest moments, just seeing just domestics at home, seeing dramas happen in my family. Street stuff with my older bro. We actually moved out because of some stuff related to that. I think disappointing my mum was a big one. When I was getting suspended from school and stuff and different things, and just dumbness, it did seem like my life was going in a certain direction. And I knew that my mum and dad had worked so hard, and I feel like that level of disappointment was a bit of a mad thing. Yeah.
Do you feel like your parents realised that faith played a part in how you then decided to conduct yourself?
Yeah, I think so. I think they saw the difference. Because even like me and my dad, in being vexed with him for years, just because of I don't know. It's a mad statement when I say this, but I feel like a lot of people hate their dads. It's like a pandemic, but it's like my ability to kind of let go of that rage towards him is kind of influenced by my faith. So he's a direct recipient of that in a way, because he's like, okay, and it's not a thing where I'm like, I'm pretending that certain things didn't happen. It's more a thing where I'm like, all right, it's crazy, but I'm gonna let this go. And I think I benefited from it more than anyone else, which is mad.
They always say that when you forgive someone, it's helping you more than it's helping the other person.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I thought that just sounds nice, innit?
It does sound nice,
but it's genuinely real.
Yeah.
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 It's genuinely real. It's hard though. Letting go is not some quick thing. It's like, it probably took me like 2 full years to like fully let go. Yeah, it's a process.
How do you explain your faith to someone who, like we just said, forgiveness, and you were able to let go? Mm-hmm. If you're faced with someone who can't let something go, mm-hmm. how do you explain that to them using your faith? I
think I would ask them, do you want... It depends where they are on their own journey though, innit? Because if they're really honest and ready, then I could just tell them straight. Mm-hmm. I could just tell them like, yo, do you want this person to live in your head rent-free? And do you want every single time you see them for it to affect your mental health in a negative way? That's straight shooting, innit? But they would have to be ready to hear that. If they're not ready, I'm not going to say that, because they'll probably be like, no, I don't care about them, mother. And when you're in that place, you're nothing's getting through. Yeah. It's just if they're ready, if they're like, you know what, I want to let this go. I've been thinking about Tyrell for the last 3 years, and da-da-da. If they're there, then I'll just tell them, look, man, let's let them go. And I use words. I literally... When I forgave my dad, he wasn't there. He doesn't know. In fact, he doesn't even know I forgave him. He doesn't know. He doesn't need to know. All he knows is my behavior changed. So I forgave him behind closed doors and said it out loud. I literally said out loud, I forgive you for... This is mad. It's deep, innit? Yeah. Raw. This is a deep interview. But I said, I forgive you for... Da-da-da-da, wrote all the things down, then said it out loud, and then said, okay, that's it. Exhaled. And then I was like, I felt lighter. Mad.
That's mad. You felt lighter, and he doesn't even know.
He doesn't need to know.
He's got no idea.
Oh, all he knows is I rate him now.
Yeah.
That's all.
But he doesn't know where that's come from.
He doesn't know. Yeah. And he might never watch this, so he doesn't even. Do you know what I mean? Like he doesn't. He doesn't. Yeah. That's funny. I've said it out loud now. And I really think he doesn't actually know.
Why does he not need to know?
Because in a way, I feel like because I'm Nigerian. I'm Nigerian, and that's quite a faith-based culture as it is. So if I tell my dad, God told me I need to forgive you, it kind of not cheapens it, but it makes it seem like it's a thing that I was forced to do. It's just a religious thing, as opposed to it actually happened. So I think I don't want him to see it through the lens of I was coerced to do it. Do you know what I mean? It just kind of takes away from everything.
I think because we grow up to believe that we have to say sorry to someone when we hurt them, or if someone hurts us, we have to let them know that we feel that they've hurt us and make them feel it, so they can feel our pain.
Yep.
And you're here telling me, well, actually, no, that person doesn't need to know that I've forgiven them. I've forgiven them, and it's cool. I've let it go, and it's given me so much grace.
Yeah, it's hard. It's yeah.
That's crazy. That's mad.
No, it's genuinely mad.
Yeah.
I'm talking about it now, and I'm realizing it's actually mad. Yeah.
So that means that a part of yourself, which was, clouded and overshadowed by hating your dad or having those feelings towards him, has just lifted.
Yeah.
And you can now move on.
Yeah. I think that's what allows me to live the way I do as well.
Yeah.
Because with how I want to go forward and the way I work and working hard and making music and doing all the things I do, I need to be light to do it. Because I can't write authentically if I'm not living authentically. Do you understand? I can't. It wouldn't come out. I'll just be talking about how I'm the best.
Yeah.
Which is sick in a way.
Yeah.
But it's no depth to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think faith has a impact on mental health?
Yes and no.
Because some people say, I asked that question because some people, who live with poor mental health or mental health issues sometimes feel that they need to, and actually I'm going to admit and say this is me, feel that as someone who lives with a mental health issue, that maybe there's something I could believe in that's higher, and that purpose will kind of take the pain away of this mental struggle.
That's serious. I think my experience has been, yes, that is dramatically impacting my mental health in a positive way. That's been my journey, but I feel like it's the expression of faith, innit? Because there's so many different ideas out there, and there's so many different things out there. I think when done right, I'll put it like that. When done right, it can affect your mental health. Because watch this now. Let's say someone else found God like me, and let's say they're 27, and they go to a church now that tells them, right, every time you leave your house, you have to give out flyers to everyone to invite them to our building. That's anxiety inducing, So in that case, that faith that's not affecting their mental health positively. Or it tells them, oh, you can't, I don't know, let's say they have a dream to be a rock star, and it tells them, you're not allowed to be a rock star now. That's quite, do you know what I mean? That's disappointing in a way. So I think that will have a negative impact. But then if it's like teaching you about, I don't know, the power of forgiveness, how to be a more selfless person, how to grow in patience, there's challenge with that, but it actually leads to a more fully expressed life, I think.
Yeah, I get that. So how does faith explain negative things that happen in the world?
How does faith explain negative
how
things
does
as well?
faith justify?
Well, I know, I mean,
how do you feel about that?
Like catastrophes? Like Man U getting whacked 4-1? It depends. You said calamities, didn't it? That's only.
We can use that example. That's a perfect example for me as a Liverpool supporter, so I don't mind.
I think that's a loaded question. I think there's a war between light and darkness. Like my EP is called Light of Mine, so my thing is that I'm very metaphorical in how I write. It's imagery, and it's imagery and spiritual. It's imagery and a lot of spiritual stuff in my writing. So like when I say, in Light of Mine, saw the news and I came offline, another youth left dead on site. He could have gone high, but they let shots fly, confused by the game of life. The pre-chorus I say, Pete's want to chat about Satan like as a joke. So because I see a lot of certain artists say stuff like, I got Satan in my dome, that's why I chefed him 4 times. I'm like, okay, cool. So you've equated that you had Satan in your dome, therefore you did X. And you might be joking, it might be bravado, but it's said so much to the point where I'm like, there's a theme here, right? So when I'm like, peace want to chat about Satan like as a joke, but I've seen light versus darkness, I know who sits on the throne. What I'm actually saying is, I look in my own life and I've learned that light is actually more powerful than darkness. Because I looked at my own situation and light was more powerful than darkness. But then I'm like, but then I play on the theme and I say, demons want the soul, got them screaming for the postcode. Another you bleeding out in the cold, you're repping the world that you don't own. I'm saying, is darkness that is influencing people to do deeply evil things. Do you understand? So that's where my belief system is. And
Can I just say that is the clearest, most concise, most straightforward answer I've ever got from that question.
Swear down.
Yeah, and I've asked that question to myself.
No way.
I've said prayers and I've asked that question.
That's
and I've asked
mad.
people of faith and I've never got an answer that I can understand that makes total sense to me.
Yeah, no, it's mad.
Thank you.
I didn't even... Jeez.
Wow, that
Come
is amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
You need to put that on a t-shirt or something.
I don't know how it'll look. Yeah.
Get stickers or something.
You know there was.
Yeah.
I need to hear that back. And I forgot what I said now, but I need to hear it back.
We need to hear it back. When we hear the podcast and the playback and we get the interview, we remember that. That is a gem right there.
Yeah.
That's
Come
mad. So faith plays a big part in your life. That is amazing.
Yeah. It's like an engine, really, Yeah.
What do you think your life would be without it?
I think I'll still be sick and I'll still be I might be even doing similar things. I think that a lot of people, because of my belief system, I think everyone was created to do certain things. Like, not that, I don't know, not like Lewis Hamilton was destined to be a Formula One. I don't mean like that. I mean more so everyone has a certain skill set. And if you work your skills, you have like multiple. So like, really, I'm a communicator. Like my gifts are communication and like gassing people. I know how to gas people. So those are my things. But then as a communicator and a creative person, I've thrown all of it into music. Like my direction, I've put it all in music. Someone else might be a technician and then they become a producer or a sound engineer or da-da-da. So I think like, for me, if I hadn't found faith, I'll still be doing music because I feel like I was just designed to do it, sort of thing. Yeah.
And you can do both. You can be a rock star and you can have faith.
Yeah, facts. Facts. You genuinely can. Like, you just can. You know? Yeah.
I mean, there are worse things you could be than a rock star.
Do you understand? Yeah, man. But you see that, yeah? That's the reason why the first thing people know about me is I'm a musician and da-da-da. And if they find out about my faith along the way, then sick. I hope that my life shows it. Because I feel like everyone has their own preconceived ideas surrounding faith. Like, some people just had bad experiences. I had bad experiences. Growing up in Nigeria, do you know what happens anyway, like there was everyone has like kind of have a bad experience with faith. So rather than that be the front thing that I give people, I'd rather just be like, no, I make cool music. If you find out about that, sick. You know? Yeah.
How do you keep your faith going? Because it's okay to say, well, I've had this experience and it's come to me. And then how do you nurture that faith so it stays with you? Because if you stop believing or working on it, I guess it collapses, and then where are you?
I feel like community, man. So like I read, I study, I've got a community of people that have had similar experiences to me. You know, I've got like, I go church probably once every 3 weeks. I try to go regular. Once a fortnight, I try to go regular. And like, I've got people there that like have had similar experiences, think like me, and are trying to do similar things to me. You know, they might be business owners or bankers or whatever, who try and just be the best at what they do and shine light wherever they are. So that's kind of what I'm on. So I think having that community has helped me massively. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Do
you think community is a big part in raising our young G's as well and trying to reach them?
Facts.
In what respect?
I feel in the sense that, you know, nothing good happens when you are alone for long periods of time outside of choice.
That's very true.
So like, you know, I'm alone bare sometimes because I'm doing things, innit? Like I'm doing things. Or I want to have clarity of thought. I want to have like even Light of Mine, the project, if I was around bare people, it wouldn't have come out. I would have made something that sounds like the next man. I needed a moment of solitude to be even make that. But some people are alone not by choice. They might be alone because of family situations or self-esteem issues or things like that, when that happens, you know, bad things happen. So even like with the young people now, you know, the ones that get involved in the most quote-unquote madness, there's usually a reason.
They're left to their own devices, maybe?
Left to their own devices, and then when they go out there, what's out there becomes the community, family. It's almost like scraps. It's almost like if you are alone and you're, I don't know, 14, you're alone. Your mum's working mad hours. You know, you're just there. You and your mum are just living alone, council flat, and she's never in. And you go out there, and then someone who looks like me says, "Yo, fam, like, all right, man. I see you want crepes like this. You want swag like this. You want yo, like." And then, you know, he introduces you to that world. You're way more likely to go, because the promise isn't just money and like clout. It's like community. Do you know? Even though you're on badness, at least you're with people doing it now.
Do you agree that sort of behaviour from elders is a form of grooming?
Oh, facts.
Yeah. I've had this conversation with people and they don't. It was a male actually I had this conversation with, and he totally disagreed. And I'm like, for an older person to meet a young child and see a weakness in them and try and exploit that for their own gain at the end and make out it's for that young person, that is grooming.
Yeah, but that's because that's two reasons. That's because you care. That's because you care as a person, innit? Like, the only reason why I think it's grooming is because I care about it. I care about the YGs. I think I started seeing it like that after I started working with YGs. Because I started realizing that's how easy the influence they are. It's jump how high. Like, if young people think you're cool, you have them in the palm of your hand. So I'm like, even my thing is like, okay, if people were to perceive me in the next couple of years as some sort of musical thing or some sort of entity, or like, do you know what I mean? Like, if you are a star out there, you have young people in the palm of your hand, and that you can take them towards darkness or light. You can encourage them to open businesses and dream big and, I don't know, be sick. Or you can be like, yo, be on this. They'll listen. Whatever you told, if you're a leader, they'll listen. So I think, you know, whoever that was that said that, they're in denial. Deep down, they know what. Deep down, they know what. They just don't want to say it, innit? Because they might have people that are still. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's so interesting, because obviously we talked about trying to reach the youth and, you know, the fine line between, you know, nagging them and influencing them. And then there are times when they will completely just air you and not listen to you. They won't, and then there are times like this where they'll look at you and they'll be like, hang on a minute, I'm going to do what that person's doing.
Yeah, that's yeah. It's all down to what you can give them, innit? Because people want, you know, they want money, power, and respect, right? That's what people want. And there are easy ways of getting that in, like, not easy ways, quite hard ways to be honest, but like in the depraved areas, there are ways to get that are very high risk. You understand? But we all know, we also respect the person that, you know, has money, lives an honest wage, has good things going for him. We respect them, maybe in a different way, but we still respect them. So you could achieve those things without doing the madness. That's kind of like, you know, a thing as well. Yeah,
and that's the kind of angle we want to get to them. You can do these things, but you can do them in a legitimate, safe way, and you can still get the same results.
This is it, yeah.
So what can I do now? If I'm going to go out now, I'm going to go home from here, and I want to interact with the youth or I work with young people anyway, but what can you tell me, something that I can do to make a young person's day or influence positively? I
think the biggest thing... Oh, I like you or
yeah, so if I'm saying now, after talking to you, I want to get involved in my local community, and I feel that children need a bit more.
I think there's a number of things. So finding a community centre that hosts projects for young people, whether it be summer projects, whether it be, you know, things, weekend projects, or even initiatives like NCS and things along those lines. Sign up to one of those where you could just invest your time into the younger generation. That's a sick thing. You know, there's volunteering, which is always out there, but then there's also school stuff. So stuff, you know, being a pastoral mentor in a school, being a mentor, stuff along those lines. Those are like direct things you could do. But I think one of them that's just quite simple, because we're all so busy, one of them that's quite simple, just thinking about whether you have anyone that is currently in that phase of being a teenager who you have influence over, like a younger cousin or younger, whatever, and just trying to find time every couple of weeks just to invest in them. And investing in them is just simple. Just having a convo
It
with them.
sounds so simple, and it's something that they don't always get, isn't it? It's
They
time.
don't.
Time is so
Just
precious.
time, yeah. Just actually giving them time. Like, so, like, just ask them, what do you want to do? Like, what? I think one of the biggest things that happened to me this week was a mum found me on Instagram, and this is mad, yeah. Oh no, I don't even know if I can say this. Okay, let me put it in code because it's real life, innit? Okay, basically, someone who was a victim, someone got stabbed, and it was peak, and the mum messaged me and said, "Yo, can they get around you in studio? Can I bring this young person to get around you in studio because he's grieving a loss. He's a drill producer, and he's been involved in that life. Like he's been involved in like they would call him a GM in it. He's just his friend got stabbed, didn't it? It's not but like he and I was like, with all the messages that were talking about how cold the freestyle was, that was the message that made me think, yo. And I looked at it, I was like, yeah, 100%. They'll come in, and it'll be sick just to have that time in the studio with a person, just to like make music. I'm not going to be there telling them about life. We're just going to make sick music because that's going to communicate enough to them anyway. Do you understand?
Yeah, that's deep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I rate that. I like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
What is your life's mission? Because I think that you already know.
My last mission? I think it's like redefining influence. I think it's gonna be. I wanna speak to two things. I wanna speak to a whole load of like the younger generation, but then I also wanna speak to like entertainment as a whole, and be like, how can we as entertainers provide more light to the people that follow us? You know, because I feel like I'm starting out. If I really be honest, I feel like I'm starting out now. But there are some people that they just have people idolizing them. If they wear blue crepes tomorrow, bare people wear blue crepes. So I'm thinking, okay, how do you leverage your influence for the betterment of your tribe?
So they can do more than just wear blue crepes.
This is it. Blue crepes are cold, but yeah.
I love that. Oh, Namesbliss, you have been absolutely amazing.
Jeez.
Thank you so much for coming down.
I wasn't expecting this chat still.
How was it for you?
It was good.
Yeah?
It was good. Yeah, no, it was blessed. I think, Light of Mine is definitely something that it's a good introduction to me. If you listen to Light of Mine, you'll be introduced into what Namesbliss is about.
Yeah,
so,
I agree.
Yeah.
Where can we find you next? What are your next plans? What's coming up for you?
So, next plans. There's going to be some music videos coming out. Some more convos, some more talks like this. And I've got my headline show on the 3rd of December.
Sick.
Which is going to be major. Going to be very major. That's
Where's that going to be?
Show. That's in Peckham Audio. So, early bird tickets have sold out already. What I don't want is people to be like, I think I even saw Banga say this the other day. People will say, "Oh, your show looked so cold. I wish I was there." Like,
don't be one of them.
You've got ample time right now. You've got 2 weeks. Get a ticket now before it either sells out or it's too late. So get a ticket now.
Where can we find you on socials?
Namesbliss everywhere. So NamesBliss. Absolutely everywhere. That's where to find me. Absolutely
amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone that locked in and listened. I hope you got as many gems from that as I did. Peace. Absolutely amazing. Have a good rest of your Tuesday, and I will see you next month. Take it easy. Hey.